Okay.
Wait, I didn't do a breathing exercise.
Let's start. I want to start. This is rolling. This is good. Yeah. That's good. All right, Jazzy. You ready? Yeah?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Today's guest is someone who has been by my side for 6 years, my right-hand person, and one of the most inspiring people, and also has had one of the most inspiring transformation I've seen in my life and real estate life. Jasmine joined my team in 2019 at just 22 years old, a little unsure of her place in the world. If we fast forward to today, she owns a property, has, I don't even know what the term is, but almost 10x'd her income, and has built, most importantly, a healthy, balanced, confident life. And she's living proof that if you put the work in, the results are there. Jasmine Anglesey, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Okay. Now, as we go through, I'm going to give people context around just how important you are to me, but just how amazing you are as a person. I want to just give the listener, there's a few things that I want to get right from the outset. So you're 28 years old, mm-hmm. and obviously a single female. Mm-hmm. And what we are going to talk about a few things in this podcast, and we're going to talk about income. So I have, for the last 24 hours, been debating whether we talk about income, whether we talk about figures. But where I've landed is that I am going to talk about your income. And I'm going to do that because of the conversation that we had last night, which is largely about you and you feeling like you didn't have role models or people to look up to. Can you actually, why don't you elaborate on that with your own words?
Okay, so I think for me, coming here from Perth, Sydney was just a whole new world, and it really opened up my eyes to what's possible. I think self-belief is something that I've struggled a lot with in my life, and I've always known that I've wanted to have a big successful life, but I didn't actually have anyone necessarily to look up to. Like, you're the most successful person that I know, and it borderline felt unattainable that I could be anything like you. So I always looked for role models that I actually could look up to, that I guess had the success, had the relationship, had the family life, had the income, had the financial stability, had the happiness, had the health that I wanted. And when I looked around, there actually wasn't really anyone that I could look up to. And I found it very hard to figure out how I could get from here and get to here when I haven't seen it done before.
And do you feel like, because you mentioned last night when we spoke about this, when you heard about other people's income or when you've shared your income with people, that has helped them?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
For me specifically, I felt it very helpful to see people who were maybe only a few years older than I am achieving certain income goals, and realizing to myself, well, if they can do it, there's really not much difference between him and me. So if he can do it, I can definitely do it. And then I feel like now that I'm reaching a point where I'm really happy with my income, sharing that with my friends, I've seen like 2 of my friends have started businesses in the last 3 months. And I'd like to think that they do look up to me. I mean, they've volunteered that information. They do look up to me, and they're really proud of me, and they're really inspired by me. And I don't know that they would be doing that if they hadn't seen my growth and my income go up the way it has.
I hear. Okay, so also, why don't we do this? I just want to put on the table as well that we are agents. We are very fortunate to earn what we earn. You know, that comes with a lot of hustle and hard work, but we are incredibly fortunate. We serve the community, and we respect and appreciate the opportunity that the community gives us. So I just want to acknowledge that. I personally see myself as incredibly lucky to earn the income that I earn doing what I do. I don't take that for granted. And I know you feel the same way.
Yeah.
The second thing I'll put on the table is I want this to be about, I thought about it, and I thought about my daughter Mimi. if she were to listen to this, I want her to feel inspired by you as well. So largely this conversation is going to be about celebrating younger agents, but in particular female agents as well. So I want to sort of celebrate you and hope that we inspire others by some of your journey.
That's what I'd love to do as well.
Amazing. Okay, so let's just start with, I'm just going to share some of the notes and we're going to unpack this and then we're going to go back and I'm going to ask you some questions. So I just want to share your journey. So you moved to Sydney from Perth when you were 18. You tried a few different jobs in real estate, but you joined my team in 2019 when you were 22. I think that's interesting because I still remember you reaching out and I thought it was quite interesting. And this is some insight for the listener around who you are as a person. I thought as, an established agent in our market that when the role became available that perhaps others would reach out, but you were the only agent or the only person that worked in the area that reached out to me. And you made it abundantly clear. You came to my open house to meet me and then you messaged me and you basically said, I want this opportunity.
Yeah, I remember calling you and I said, hey, you might not remember me, but I'm Jasmine. I work here at the moment and I want to be your new assistant.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know where I got that confidence as a 22-year-old.
So good.
Naivety.
Okay. And tomorrow is your 6-year work anniversary with me.
Yeah.
Okay. Now let's jump forward to 2023. Okay. So this is your life. So 2023, you were single and you'd just come out of a 6-year relationship. You had $15,000 credit card debt.
Yeah. I was 25 years old at this point. So I'd been working with you for 2.5 or 3 years.
Okay. By your own words, not very healthy and exercise wasn't a part of your life. You were questioning your life. You felt like you had a lack of friends, perhaps a lack of career growth. Okay, this is the first, I get uncomfortable talking about income, but we're going to talk about it. So you were earning about 100K.
Yeah.
You started on a 60K package, which was the award, correct?
Yeah.
So within 2 years, you'd been able to get to 100K. And that is a result of, again, our industry, the opportunity to earn commission and hard work, because not many people get to 100K in our industry. So I'm going to acknowledge that. You spent a lot of time trying to fit in, meet new friends, find yourself. And you were single for the better part of the age of 25 and 26. It was a tough time.
Yeah, it was a really tough time.
Okay. In 2024, you decided to have the best year of your life.
Yeah.
Wait, just tell me you decided?
Yeah. So I decided, I think I'd made 100 grand for 2 years in a row. And I was like, that's not how it should be. I should be growing, not stagnating. And I feel as though, yes, that year was a year of exploring who I was and figuring things out as a single 25, 26-year-old in Sydney for the first time. And I just knew that I didn't leave Perth. I didn't leave my family. I didn't leave all of my friends to have a mediocre life, and that there was more for me. And I just had to make a decision that whatever I was doing wasn't working, and I had to make big changes. So I started this mantra that I would, and this was with a lot of help from you, but my mantra was I would only do things that raise my vibration. So I made a list of everything that lowered my vibration: late nights, staying out way too late with friends, being hungover on Sundays, rushing off from work on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday to go and hang out with friends, eating poorly, not sleeping enough, not exercising, just anything that was low vibration. I got out of my life and I chose consciously things that were high vibration. So getting up early, seeing a sunrise, exercising, eating well. I quit alcohol. I quit spending time with anyone who was low vibration. So from my perspective, anyone who wasn't growing in their life, anyone that was going backwards, anyone that would complain about things, I only wanted to spend time with people who I admired. So I cut everyone else off. And I made a lot of friendships in that year where I was unsure about who I was, but I cut a lot of people off and I only spent time with high vibration people. So
the concept of low or high vibration was taught to me back, I think it must have been 2018, something like that, by a naturopath called Kylie Seaton. And Kylie explained the concept to me around everything you do is a decision, can be a decision to either increase your vibration as a human or decrease it. And it's exactly what you just said. And to live that life, which I personally think life is all about energy and energy management. So to get to that point of high energy, or a high vibration is a result of a sequence of good decisions to make. So, okay, let's keep going. So 2024, you stopped drinking, started exercising, eating healthier, sleeping more, started working harder and smarter. My mantra was I only do things that raise my vibration, which meant positive choices only. I realized my mindset was holding me back from taking me to the next level in life. So I'm just going to touch on that. So you took responsibility for where you were, or accountability.
Yeah.
I started seeing a performance coach and energy healer fortnightly. I perfected my listing presentation. That's for the agents listening to this. Got into more doors, got more focused on my buyer work and prospecting. That's for the agents as well. By the end of 2024, I'd cleared my debt, bought an investment property with your mum, ended the year on 13 sales. Plenty of sales were in collaboration with me. And then you'd earn over 300 grand.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just going to touch on the income, and it's the last time. That 300K represents growth. Why don't we just say that? But that is outstanding. You made a decision, you followed through, and that was the byproduct.
Yeah.
Okay. Can we talk about 2025? Okay. It gets even more interesting. In 2025, you decided again that you were going to take your life to the next level. So there were sacrifices that were going to be made.
Yeah.
You were, and this is what you alluded to, you were looking for a role model that was successful, healthy, a kind woman in a happy marriage. And sadly, there weren't many people to look up to. You were lucky enough to connect with Caroline Balderstone, who is a real estate coach, and you locked her in as your real estate coach immediately. It was a huge financial investment, but you backed yourself, and you knew it would be the best financial decision you could make.
Yeah. And it is a big financial commitment to pay money for a very well-known, successful real estate coach. Like, that's a lot of money to commit. Like, I actually can't even compare it to like rent, but I'm pretty sure it's probably the same as my rent.
Wow. Okay. So you set your goals and you made your mantra for the year. My growth is
exponential.
Okay. You knew you needed to get in front of more sellers, again, for the real estate audience, and more of the hottest buyers in the market so you could piece deals together, that skill set. You set yourself KPIs for daily buyer calls and owner calls. You tightened up your database management and you hustled for every opportunity that came to you. You lent into trust in the universe and truly believed that you were worthy of success. You repeat to yourself every morning and every night, amazing things are happening to me tomorrow. And then when I wake up, amazing things are happening to me today. And you always thank the universe for the things that you're actually yet to receive.
Yeah.
Okay, so I just want to give the audience so you have a spray at the office.
Yes, I do.
And you spray that spray on yourself.
Yeah.
Or anybody else in the office.
Yeah.
So if you're going out to a listing appointment, you spray the spray and you say, I'm so happy and grateful for
this new listing that I've just signed.
So you talk about it as if it's already happened.
Yeah. And in fact, sometimes I'll just convince the office that I've already got it. So I have all of their like positive vibration. I'll say, guess what? They're like, what? I just signed this listing. And they're like, wow, that's amazing. Congratulations. And I'm like, all right, let's go.
And you haven't even been there.
Yeah.
Okay. Your main goal is to be calm, have balance, have a healthy life, strong relationships, to save and invest money so you can set yourself up for the future. Career-wise, you aim to finish the year on 30 sales and 500K of personal income. You're very close to that. You're on 26 sales and just shy. Fitness-wise, you've made an effort to consume healthy, nourishing foods the majority of the time and to move your body every day, calm your body by reading and sleeping 8+ hours a night. That was foreign to you, wasn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. On Mondays, you do your follow-up calls while you walk around our area, Balmain. Mm-hmm. How many calls would you make on a Monday?
Probably between like 50 and 80.
And on that same day, you can sometimes crack 25,000 steps.
Yeah.
You socialize whilst walking. You call your family while walking. You do Pilates, boxing, HIIT classes a few days a week. You've lost 9 kilos this year.
Yeah.
But you're fit and healthy. Yeah.
Fit and healthy.
It's a healthy 9 kilos.
I've probably been a similar weight before in that 20, 25, 26 age, but it wasn't healthy. Okay.
You read every night. You sleep 8+ hours most nights. You see friends. You talk to family. You're fairly stress-free. Your emotions are regulated. You have great relationships with your colleagues. You have great relationships with your clients. And you'd like to think that they all feel supported by you. They trust you and they know that you work hard for them. You have completely prioritized your nervous system and your work without losing sight of enjoying each day and connecting with the people you love. Holy moly. That is so bloody impressive. Like, I don't know what to say.
Thanks.
That is so impressive. And I think, I don't think it matters whether you're male or female listening to this, but if you're a young agent, your attitude is unbelievable. Unbelievable. And there's so many qualities that you have that we'll get to that aren't even in that list. It is so impressive. I feel so honored to be a part of this journey.
Thanks.
Okay. Let's I've got some questions for you here. So let's go through these questions, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Can you take us back to when you first joined my team? Who was Jasmine then, and what was life like for you at 22?
Okay, so I remember my first couple of weeks with you. I had no idea what I was doing. I was in a hybrid role. So I was half PA, half sales associate. I didn't know how to qualify a buyer. You taught me that. And I feel as though I picked it up pretty quickly. But I didn't know how to price a property. I had no idea. You asked me to price something and I reckon I spent 2.5 hours between 6 p.m. and 8:30 at night not knowing what the hell I was doing. And I remember Andy was leaving the office one day and I was crying and he's like, what's wrong? Like, what's Adrian done? And I'm like, nothing. I just don't know how to price this property. Like, what do I do? And he was helping me. And I was just so in the deep end. And I knew from the second I started with you, I was in the deep end, but you supported me from day one. And you always acknowledged that you wanted me to be in the deep end because that's where I was going to grow and learn. And you weren't afraid of me to make a mistake because you wanted me to grow. So I always felt backed by you. But life then was, I was in a long-term relationship. And as I said, I didn't prioritize my health or any healthy habits. I'd go home, eat takeaway, watch a movie in front of I'd have a TV in my bedroom. So I'd fall asleep watching a movie, sometimes 2. I'd probably sleep 7 hours a night and then rush to work when I woke up in the morning. And I felt like I was always reactive. I was never proactive. I felt like I was always on the back foot. And I put a lot of pressure on myself to make sure that I was doing my job properly. I was eager to please you and I was eager to do a really good job. So I worked very hard, but I didn't have any balance. I didn't really have any friends outside of work. And I certainly wasn't happy with where I was in life. It wasn't the life that I had planned when I left Perth.
Is it fair to say that at that point, like just touching on your sort of life, like you would work, come home, eat takeaway, watch a movie, like you didn't really know any better?
Yeah.
That was life.
Yeah, that was life. And I can say in hindsight, I wasn't that happy, but I was happy. Like that was my comfort zone. It was nice.
So what does it look like, just to give some context? What happens when you get home now?
Well, my day starts very differently. So I was up at 4:40 today doing a hot strength Pilates with Kate, my best friend. And when I get home tonight, it'll be a healthy dinner. I think we're having salmon vermicelli noodle bowl with mango on the balcony while the sun sets.
Okay.
And then I'll get ready for bed and read my book probably 5 pages before I fall asleep. I'll be in bed by 8:15 and asleep by 9.
So you're coming home, you're having a healthy meal, you got your best friend there.
Yeah. No, we don't own a TV.
Okay, so there's no
I think
television.
I'm traumatized from TV watching. I don't want a TV in our house.
Okay. What do you remember about your mindset and self-belief in those early days?
I was an assistant and I was your assistant, and that's all it was. There was no I didn't have a vision of being an independent agent that could list and sell and manage the stress of a client and their biggest asset. I was just happy to take the back seat. I loved that all the responsibility was on you and that I just had to do my job. And if shit hit the fan, you had to deal with it.
So what's your mindset and say self-belief today?
I can literally do anything. I can just do anything. I'm so capable.
And you're an agent?
I'm an agent.
Yeah. Not my assistant anymore.
Nah.
No.
But you helped me with
assistant.
that. You said, you're not an assistant. You are an agent. What would an agent do? You just drilled into me. What would an agent do? What would an agent do? Over and over and over. And you said, you're an agent. Think like an agent. And that was before I could even list something myself.
Okay.
So thank you for that.
I'm happy to hear that. What do you think made us click? What was it about our dynamic that worked from the start?
High expectations. You have very, very high expectations, and I also have very high expectations of myself, but also of how things should be done. And I think I learned very quickly what your expectations were, and I just wanted to get it done. I didn't want to make you upset.
Do you feel like I know over the years we've had people that have joined us, and at the start it would be me being sort of maybe annoyed or frustrated that I'm just a perfectionist with how I do everything, which is also crippling. But that's how I was. But then I felt like you would be so before there'd a mistake would happen, and you'd be more angry than me about it because you got so protective over our we're a team. And
I became very protective over you immediately.
Yeah. Looking back now, how would you describe the growth you've experienced both professionally and personally across these 6 years?
The first word that comes to mind is impressive. I'm impressed with myself, how much I've changed and how much I've grown and how I've taken every challenge as an opportunity to grow. And again, with your help, you've never let me have a victim mindset. You've always encouraged me to look for the positives in things, which I think comes naturally to me anyway. But yeah, I think just taking every challenge as an opportunity to grow. And
just for the listener, some perspective. You grew up in Perth. I've met your beautiful mum, but your level of success, if it's measured in terms of, say, finances, is something that's never been achieved in your family before, right?
Yeah.
It's so far out of the realm of what's been achieved. Is that fair to say? And I say that respectfully because you have a beautiful family.
Everyone who I grew up with, I don't know anyone who earned over probably 150 grand a year. There might be a couple of friends I went to school with now that are earning over that, but it certainly wasn't something I ever saw.
Did you ever think that real estate could be a vehicle for self-development? Because...
No.
Okay. So why do you think it is?
I think I have a saying that I say to myself, who do I need to become in order to be the person who has this level of income? And I've learnt now that you do need to become a certain sort of person. Well, I mean, maybe some people can get away with not growing, but for me, I feel like you need to become a certain person in order to stretch your income. So I think when you are capped at a certain income, you just naturally have to grow to get to the next level, because there are times when I've had 6 sales in a month, and the pressures of that, I don't think I would be able to handle that 2 years ago. In fact, I definitely wouldn't have been able to handle it. So unless you grow to a point where you can handle the emotional knockbacks, your emotional resilience has to grow, your ability to communicate has to grow, your ability to take on more tasks in a day and not crumble has to grow. There's no other way to do it, in my opinion. And if you're not growing, you can't do it.
Is it fair to say you used to cry a lot at the start,
lot.
right? Okay. But you don't cry so much anymore.
No.
Rarely.
Rarely? Yeah, rarely.
So what changed?
Emotional resilience. And probably, I think I would often feel really overwhelmed, and perhaps my subconscious was telling me, you're not good enough, you're an idiot, like really negative self-talk, and I would crumble. Whereas now I think I love myself enough that it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay for things to not go to plan. But I think I've probably had enough experiences now where when things do go off track, they 99% of the time come back on track. So I just trust the universe and say, it's going to work out. Like, there is no point crying over it. Let's find a solution.
You know, something else that I want to add. I believe that, and I think this is healthy just based on the journey that I've gone on, that you spend your life in your feminine state. You're not in your masculine, or like, I've never witnessed that part of you. So whilst you have all this success, it still comes in a very nice, soft, beautiful feminine package. And sometimes there were some tears at the start, but with the emotional resilience, how did you develop that?
I think a lot of it came from my energy healing and performance coach that I started seeing last January.
Dave?
David Flakler. So I started seeing him in January, and I also started, it was last January. And then I started seeing Caroline Balderston at the same time. So she helped with my real estate stuff, and then David Flakler helped me with my self-belief and energetic blockages that I had. And I remember sitting in front of Caroline in February last year, so that's just over 18 months ago. I had 3 listings on at the time, and I cried my entire session. And I said, I've got 3 listings right now, and I am crumbling. The pressure I'm putting on myself to report back to my clients, and the fact that they're not going as well as I'd hoped, and the amount of work I have to do right now in order to get things back on track, and the information I need to deliver to these clients is scary. And if I am this stressed and working this many hours in a week, how the hell am I meant to go to the gym, sleep enough, have friends, meet a guy, build a relationship, get married, start a family, look after kids? How am I going to do all of that when I'm crumbling under 3 listings? So I took that pain to David Flakler, and I said, I need to fix something, because if I can't get past this, I will never succeed as a real estate agent. And I need more than 3 listings on the go at a time if I want to get the goals, like if I want to achieve the goals I have. And yeah, like, we delved into really deep work, and we let go of a lot of I did with his help. I let go of a lot of the pressure that I put on myself so that I could just be in a flow state. And I just see myself as someone that delivers information now. It's not my responsibility, I won't go into the details, but I just deliver information, and I just work as hard as I can, and I just control the things I can control.
You, just to give people a sense of your work ethic, and again, this will probably appeal to a real estate audience. So we open our properties on the weekend, on a Saturday in Sydney. Then you do your follow-up calls on a Monday. You call everybody, right?
Everyone.
And then what do you do on Tuesday?
If someone didn't answer, I'll call them all again.
Okay. And then what do you do on Wednesday?
If they don't answer, I call them all again. I'm texting, hey, just confirming you're not interested, or tell me something.
So that's incredible, because if someone hired you to represent them, that's what they're getting. Like, that is
my responsibility to know exactly what any person who has come through their door is doing. If there is a glimmer of hope that they might like their property, I'm going to do everything I can to make them buy it, or at least try and buy it.
And what I find not fascinating, but this is just the level that we're at. So just before we're about to sell a property, we always do a broadcast, which means we send a message to everybody that's been through the property to say, this is about to sell, just so that you know. And I ask you every single time, is it possible that you've missed someone? And what do you say?
Absolutely not. If I had done my job properly, there will be no one. If I haven't done my job properly, someone will resurface. And I know I've done my job properly.
No one ever has resurfaced. That's how watertight you manage campaigns.
Yeah.
Okay. Your listing presentation. So you mentioned that you perfected it, or as best as you can.
Yeah.
How did you do that, or what changed?
Okay, so I remember sitting in front of, well, there was a point where I thought, okay, I need to start getting in front of more sellers. So I asked some people who I met at an open home, can I come and talk to you about the sale of your house? And I walked around and I went, oh, this is nice. I sat at the dining table and I tried to explain why they should use me to sell their house. And I stopped halfway through and I was like, guys, I just need to admit, I'm not good at this bit. I'm good at selling. Like if you choose me to sell your house, I will get you the best price, but I can't articulate to you how I do that. So I'm really sorry. Like, I'm just not good at this. She's like, oh, you're fine. You're doing a great job. She never called me back and it went on the market with someone else. And I was like, fair enough. But I called my best friend, Bianca Field, and I said, what do I do? Like, again, if I want to be a successful real estate agent, I need to sit in front of sellers and actually explain why they should sell their house with me, because I know they should. Like, I know I'm good enough. But how do I tell them that? So she came into the office, our main office one morning, and she just said to me, tell me why you think someone should sell their house. Tell me about your statistics. Tell me about this, tell me about that. And she just panned it all out for me. And she said, this is all you're going to talk about. You're going to keep it short and sweet. And that's all you're going to say. And I said, okay. So we role played it 3 or 4 times. I was like, oh, that's pretty good. So I just say the same stuff over and over again.
So you can now very clearly articulate what your value proposition is.
And the exact plan, how we're going to go from here to here and get the best result possible.
Yeah. Have you noticed how the last couple of testimonials we got, our clients have said that we outlined a plan and it went like clockwork? Mm-hmm. Have you noticed that?
Yes.
I just thought that was fascinating.
Well, I remember reading a review of yours a few years ago. And in fact, a lot of your reviews have always said Adrian had a plan and it went to plan. And I've started to experience the same thing now. Like I give someone a plan and it just works. And they love that. They're like, this has happened exactly how you've told us it would.
And do you feel like, how long did it take you to get to that point?
Like at least 4.5 years after working with you. Probably 5.
The penny started to drop.
Yeah.
And then you can start to see situation. Like I find it fascinating that like, it's just probably an assumption from a lot of the general public that what we do is easy. I can sell my own house. And I think that assumption's made on the basis that, well, I know what I want and someone knows what they want to pay. So I just have to massage the last bit out. But we know there's about 4,000 layers to that conversation. Mm-hmm. And I can't even articulate that right now. I don't even know how to do it. I'd have to literally think about it. But it is interesting because, you know, what we have learned or what you start to learn is buyer behavior. So somebody does something and then, you know, well, actually, I'll put it to you this way. I don't think it's been probably 4 years since somebody did something that I had never experienced. And I'd say before that, probably 4 years. So in 8 years, only 2 things I've actually said, oh, wow, I haven't actually dealt with that before. Everything else I've dealt with multiple times. So do you feel like you've entered that space now where I guess like we sell houses obviously, but what we specialize in, I think, is just human psychology.
Yeah, definitely. I think the approach I took when I started working with you was that this is a 5-year university degree. So whilst a lot of my friends were still at uni, having to work part-time jobs and pay their hex off, I was in the fortunate position where I was making a full-time salary and learning as I went. So I said, okay, this is a 5-year university degree. I'm going to learn everything I can on the job, get practical experience, expose myself to all sorts of different styles of negotiation and, I guess just different experiences, thanks to you being a high-performing sales agent. And at the end of those 5 years, I should be in a position where I can sit in front of a seller and say, this is how I'm going to get you sold. And that's exactly how it panned out. I got to the end. I went, yeah, okay, I can do this now. Now I just need to figure out how I tell people.
Okay. Consistency. You are incredibly consistent, right?
I am now. I've always been consistent with my work, but the health stuff has never been consistent. But this year and last year, it's been really consistent.
Okay. In the real estate sense, right? Specifically, whether it's prospecting, buyer work, seller work, whatever it may be. So again, this is an observation that I made. I might have met someone 3 months ago, and then I'll remember that buyer because something similar's come up, and you'll be like, I've been talking to them once a week for the last 3 months. You're on everything. Or someone's made a passing comment 5 months ago that they might sell, and you're like, I call them every week too. Like nothing slips through. How important is that consistency?
That's something that I never did before. It's something that I've really prioritized over the last 8 months. It's just like work smarter, not harder. Like as you read out before, I hustled for every opportunity. So if there is someone who is thinking of possibly selling, I am following them up, maybe not every week, but when appropriate. So reaching out, whether if their best line of communication is email, I'll be emailing them once a month. Hey, just letting you know this sold. How are you going? If someone says I might move in January, I'm calling them literally every week from last month, because we're in November now, from last month to until I sign it up. Like I'm just going to chase that until I have that signed for January. And it's in my reminders app. I don't tick it off until I've contacted them.
Okay, let's say there's a young agent, right? What separates someone who is performing incredibly well and growing and someone that's just plateauing or not growing? What in your view, what's the difference between those two people?
I think you can grow faster when you're exposed to more opportunities, and to expose yourself to more opportunities, you should be making more phone calls. And if you're working with an agent that may not sell a lot, then you need to do something to expose yourself to more negotiations. So do all your old callback books, identify all of the hottest buyers in the market, and just service them like crazy. And then get in front of sellers and fail and be bad at listing presentations and learn from it. And hopefully you work for an agent that lets you negotiate. But I think it's really, really important, like you always let me, stuff up a negotiation. Let a buyer get angry at you because you forgot to call them back. Learn from absolutely everything.
What's something you've learned working alongside me every day that's shaped who you are as an agent? I feel weird asking that,
the first thing that comes to mind is everything should have been done 30 seconds ago and faster.
Okay.
So it's a blessing and a curse. The curse is that initially it sent my nervous system into overdrive. But the blessing is that the expectations are really high. And I remember you saying to me once, I think a owner messaged our group chat and said, how did the open home go? And it was my responsibility to update them how it went. And you said, if they're asking you, you haven't done your job properly. You should be telling people things before they even think that they want to know it. So I think speed and delivering information, good, bad, ugly, whatever it is, just delivering information and always giving people options. What else have I learned from? I've learned so much. Being kind, being authentic. I think authenticity is your superpower, and I've tried to lean into that as well. And I think I'm there now. I remember a buyer came into our open home in Balmain earlier this year, and on my callback, she said, I have to say, you and Adrian are the most authentic agents we've ever come across. I was like, yeah, we're just there having fun. Like it's good. We're just ourselves. We're not trying to be anyone that we're not. And I think that's good. It's the right vibration to be in when you're just yourself. So much. Like the list goes on and on.
That's really good. Okay. What about in 20 24, when your mantra become only do things that raise my vibration. What triggered that shift?
Well, the earlier December, I prioritized socializing, partying, drinking too much, staying out way too late, staying up all night if I wanted to. Like, that was important to me.
But you have high energy. You can stay up all night without even...
I can stay up all night sober, yes.
Yes. Just to clarify for the audience.
Yeah.
That's how much energy you have.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Like, I'm always the last one standing unless I make a conscious effort to go home. Like, even Kate, my best friend who still drinks, if we go out for dinner and then the girls are like, let's go here after, I'm like, yeah, let's go. I'm driving everyone to the parties. And then they're like, all right, time to go. And I'm like, where's next?
Okay.
So, like, I literally have to make a conscious effort to go home. But yeah, I think I wasn't happy with my income, and I wasn't happy with the amount of money in my bank account. I wasn't happy with who I was. I wasn't happy with where my life was going. I woke up one day and I said, this isn't good enough. Like, it's just not good enough.
And you drop the excuses?
Yeah. I said, that's it. I'm quitting alcohol starting today. And
so how did cutting alcohol out change your life?
I think alcohol lowers the vibration more than anything. Makes me tired. It makes me make poor decisions. It makes me not clear-headed. It makes me want to go home from work earlier. It makes me not want to get up in the morning as early as I could. It makes me not think of possibilities and opportunities. I feel like in the first month, like a buyer would just come to my mind and I'd be like, oh, they'd be perfect for this. And I could just piece things together so much more easily. So it wasn't that I knew what the outcome was going to be. It's just that I knew that it was a low vibration activity.
And so when was the last time you had a drink?
It was New Year's Eve this year. So like 10 months ago. But then I drank for 2 months last year. So November, December last year. And then I did 10 months sober. So 10 months sober last year, then 2 months of drinking. And then this year I said I'll do 11 months. And who knows, maybe next year I'll do 12 months.
Okay. And so that is consciously so that in the silly season, you will reward yourself and have a drink.
Yeah, it's so that I have an anchor of a finish point. So the idea last year was that by the time we get to November, it's like winding down at work and it won't impact my work so much if I feel a little bit dustier than I want to feel. But then I realized in November, there is still so much opportunity and I want to be clear-headed this November. And we're the 11th of November today. So I still haven't had any alcohol this November and there is still so much opportunity.
What did you do for Melbourne Cup?
I worked until 3:30, then went home and got a pedicure at 4 o'clock and wrote vendor reports, and then went home and ate healthy dinner on the balcony and went to bed and read.
Awesome. Okay. What does energy mean to you in the context of real estate?
Energy to me, when you put it like that, is walking into a room with a seller or a buyer and not feeling frantic and feeling trustworthy and like I've got my shit together. Because I think someone can have high energy and it's great to be around and it's fun, or they can have high energy and it's frantic and you're just like, oh, get out of this room. I don't want to be around you. And I'm very mindful of just having a nice, calm, upbeat, positive, happy and fun if it's appropriate, or serious and calm when it's needed.
Do you know how you just mentioned the word trustworthy? I can't remember where we were. I think I remember where we were. We won't say. But I remember someone saying that one of the things they're grateful for is that their clients trust them. And you remember what I said? Like, I'm not grateful for that because, of course, my clients trust me. I'm trustworthy. Why would they not trust me? That's just a given. I offer that. I offer trust, honesty, integrity, all those things. That's how we practice in real estate.
It's who you are.
Yeah. We don't use clever wording to dance around things that need to be addressed.
Or we don't do things just to build trust. We do things properly.
Yeah, I think that's a really, I want to acknowledge that because you, Jack, and everybody else at BW in particular, like your age group, you guys are the new generation of agents. And in terms of, so I think you have every password that I possibly have. For the last 3 years, you've told me how much to pay you.
Yeah.
I've never checked once.
And then I told you that I accidentally got overpaid. Well, I told your accountant, I'm pretty sure Adrian's been overpaying me. We need to sort this out. And yeah, of course I told you.
Yeah. So that's something that I think is like, that says something about who you are or who we are. We are trustworthy.
Yeah.
I've never checked a commission. I've never double checked something.
No.
Because I just trust you.
But you also know as soon as someone does something even remotely untrustworthy, they are gone. Because how you do something is how you do anything is how you do everything, right?
I was about to say that. Yeah.
So I remember there's been 2 people that have been in our team where they did something untrustworthy and you're like, no, that's it. Like there's no coming back.
Yeah, someone I fired straight away, right? Walked him in the boardroom and said, that's it, you're done.
And another girl.
Yeah, okay. Okay, this is interesting. You've talked about trust in the universe, right? So do you think spirituality and success can coexist in what is largely like a hard-driven industry?
I do. On the topic of energy and vibration, I think we attract what we vibrate. So if I am vibrating at the frequency of winning this listing that I'm walking into, I'm winning that listing. There is no question about it. I've never walked into a listing and thought I'm getting that and not got it. Oh, once.
Maybe
I got blindsided. Yeah, they're painful to think about. But I think you attract what you vibrate. So I do think spirituality is super important.
It's also like context for the listener and for the younger listener in particular. So you're 28, you're an absolute professional at what you do. You're winning listings against established agents that have been doing it 2 or 3 times longer than what you have. So you're winning business against them.
That are still on too. Like it's not like they're, taking their foot off the pedal.
And you're winning that business with integrity, with all facets of good character, not being the cheapest, not being promising the most. You're winning business fair and square in a, like, it almost sounds a bit weird to say, but like just in an honest fashion.
Yeah.
Why does that sound so like foreign to say? Like, it's just, we're in an industry where there are things that frustrate me as someone who's been doing it forever. And one of the things that frustrates me is, like, I went to an appointment this morning and it was out of area. And I met this older lady and I asked her, like, why did you ring me? Why do you want me? I don't sell in this area. And she said, I just heard good things about you. And I said, okay, but why didn't you interview the other agents? And she said, yeah, they all came in. And I said, so why didn't you use them? What did they say it was worth? And she said, 2 of them said that they're the best and that I'll get over 5 million for this and that I should use them and they can instigate a plan straight away. And she said, but just something didn't feel right. And I said, okay. And I said, would you sell it if it wasn't 5 million? And she said, no. And I said, if you ran this process and you got 4.5, do you feel like you would have wasted your time and money? And she said, yes. Now, the irony is I said to her, I have no idea what your house is worth, but my instinct just says it's not worth 5 million. But what I will do is I have 3 colleagues at the office, because it happens that Brezzy Whitney sold that property back in 2021, that I can share the link with and I can come back to you with a price. And I called her back and I said, the reality is your property is probably worth 4.2 or 4.3. Now, that may mean that you never want to talk to me again, and I understand that. And you might want to go with one of the agents who said they're the best and they can get you over 5 million. And she said, I'll just stop you right there. Thank you for being the first person to be honest with me. I think I knew that that was the case, but I got agents saying to me that they can get me 5 million. They know the house is here. They know the house is vacant. They know that I want to sell it, but they have a different agenda. And that's what I find frustrating about real estate agents. So anyway, I'm acknowledging you because I know that when, if it was a competitor that lost a piece of business to you, they've lost it fair and square. That hurts. Like, that actually hurts as someone, if I was to lose business to a younger agent, like, it actually hurts. So
yeah. Often people say to me, Jasmine, you're the most conservative on the estimate. And I'm like, well, data's data.
Okay.
I've got a plan to get you more.
you went from being in credit card debt. You also remember you smashed your car as well?
Yeah. So it was credit card debt up until March last year. It was credit card debt. And then before I paid it off, I wrote off my car. Well, someone hit me head on.
No, it wasn't your fault.
No, it wasn't. Someone
you.
hit me head on. I had third-party insurance, hoping that if I was ever in an accident, whoever hit me would have to pay. And that bloke didn't have any insurance. So, yeah, I wrote off my car and got nothing for it. And
that was something like maybe 20K?
Yeah, I think it was valued at like 18.
There you go. So that was an 18K loss, credit card debt.
Yeah.
I look back at how you handled that situation. You're in Bondi and I don't know, like some guy who you probably didn't even have a license. I don't know. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't, but has no insurance whatsoever, hits you. And then you did explore momentarily the possibility of suing him because you were given that advice, and then you chose to walk away from that.
Yeah.
Is that fair to say, because that was almost like a vibrational decision as well?
It was a vibrational decision. I thought to myself, I can engage a lawyer that'll cost me $5,000 and I might be chasing this guy for a year or two. And energetically, if I raise my vibration high enough, in a year or two, $5,000 is absolutely nothing to me. So let's move on and let's figure out a way to make more money.
So like I'm celebrating. So again, for people that are struggling, and $5,000 is a lot of money.
It was a lot. Well, again, a lot of money to me. I had no money. I had to get a loan to buy a new car, and I was still in credit card debt. Like, I had to figure it out.
Okay. So you went from that, the car accident, credit card debt, to buying an investment property.
Yeah.
Okay. How? Or is it what we're discussing?
Yeah. All of this, I suppose, and being really conscious of where my money went.
What about this? How has your relationship with money changed your confidence in yourself? Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well, I can do a lot more now that I couldn't do before. I couldn't go out for dinner. I couldn't go out for dinner because I didn't have enough money. I barely got my hair cut. I certainly didn't go to any beauty appointments. I certainly didn't buy any new clothes. I didn't have a gym membership. I certainly could have eaten healthier. That's not expensive. But all of those things help. Like, I feel better about myself now that I can spend money on myself. And I can also buy the people that I love really nice things, and that makes me feel good. And I can buy dinner if I want to. Like, it's nice. It's just a nice energy to be in.
So what's your philosophy now around, say, investing in yourself? Time, energy, finances?
Investing in myself is invaluable. I never, ever question spending money on myself.
Never?
I think there is a happy medium on like how many clothes I need and how expensive those clothes are. But I think I'm pretty practical around it. Again, there's probably a happy medium around how much money I spend on a real estate coach and how often I do it, or how many energy healers and therapists and things like that I see. I could certainly invest in more holidays because that would be good for me, but I'm not I'm not quite there in just thinking that's something I can throw money at. Like, I'm very conscious around how much money I'll spend on a holiday, but I know it's important. So yeah, there's thought that goes into it.
With the holiday part, so that's coming, right?
I went on holiday a month ago.
Yeah, we did the health retreat in Bali with 13, 14 other people. But you did feel, you felt very uncomfortable, didn't you?
Yeah, it was out of my comfort zone to spend that kind of money.
Yeah.
But it was out of my comfort zone to not be at work. It was my first holiday since starting with you. It was my first overseas holiday in 7 years. And it was my first holiday that wasn't Christmas since I started working with you.
And so you felt uncomfortable, and now that it's been done, how do you feel about it?
I'm proud that I did it, and I can see why it's so important to switch off. And I'm really lucky that we've got a great team. We've got Danny, we've got other agents in the office that were able to support me. But I also think it built a lot of self-belief in myself, because I told every single seller that I sat in front of that I'm away in Bali on those dates. So I can help you sell your house, but it either needs to be done by the time I leave, or I get a colleague to help, or we wait till I get back. And a few waited till I got back, and I was like, yeah, that's so cool.
That's really good. I know most senior agents that wouldn't do that. Most senior agents would not have the courage to address that head on the way you did. And how much better does it feel to address things without any fear?
Yeah.
And like, how much did it really change?
I don't think it affected me negatively at all.
Agreed.
It's an abundance mindset.
I love an abundance mindset. You wanted to find female role models. Do you think that you've become one yourself now?
Yes, I do. And it's only recently that I have given myself credit for that. And it's mainly just because I've had a few females reach out and say that they look up to me, they want to be like me. And then I have friends who are saying they're so inspired by me, and they're making life changes as well to, take control of their finances. So yeah, I would say I am.
What about, so you're single at the moment, but you've sort of been on and off, but you're single at the moment. Is that a fair description?
Yeah.
Okay. Has being single during this chapter, or the period while you were single, shaped your independence and your growth?
Yeah, I think I used to really struggle with being alone, and I felt like I needed people around me in order to feel enough and feel worthy. And I needed other people's validation and love to feel enough. Enough in every aspect of life in terms of growth in a career. And I think I needed other people, and now I don't need anything. Everything's just a bonus.
How do you how do you maintain strong relationships with clients and colleagues while protecting your own peace and boundaries?
Very direct communication and a smile on my face when I deliver it.
Can I have an example?
I don't know. I guess like I have standards for everything, and I'm willing to lovingly share if I'm not happy about something to anyone, whether it's colleagues or friends. And people trying to buy off me as well. I had someone getting really agitated on the phone once because they really wanted to buy this property, and they just kept on saying, I need it done today, I need it done today. And I just pushed back and lovingly said, I get that you want it done today. Like, I would really love to help you buy it today, but I am not selling this property until we've exhausted the negotiations. It's my responsibility to my client to make sure that we get the best price for them. It's really important to them. And I know it's important for you to buy this property, but I just need time. So can you please be patient while I do what I need to do? And if you're the highest offer, you will buy it. But if you're not the highest buyer, I'm going to have to tell you that. And you will have an option to increase your bid. But I need your patience right now, please. And they're like, okay, I'm sorry.
Makes me proud to hear you say that.
Thanks.
Also,
It was actually a buyer's agent who was very firm as well. So I was proud of myself to like push back on a professional who was like trying to push me around.
absolutely. And I think also you are probably the most loyal person I've ever met and the most defensive person of like the people that you love. And recently I said something about somebody that was close to you and you pulled me up and you said to me, I didn't appreciate what you said. And I apologized to you and I said, yeah, I'm really sorry. I shouldn't. I'm really sorry. Yeah.
So that's an example. I'm not afraid to say how I feel in order to have strong relationships. Like, I don't want to take that negativity into our next few weeks where I'm annoyed at you for something. I'm going to tell you and give you the opportunity to apologize, which clearly I wanted an apology. Otherwise I wouldn't tell you. And yeah, I think it's important to be a really clear communicator.
How many times did I say sorry?
A lot.
Okay, so you've lost 9 kilos, but more importantly, you've transformed your lifestyle. What's the hardest habit to maintain?
Getting into my bed at 8:15.
Is that what time you get into bed?
Yeah. Well, I try to.
Okay. Anything else? Is that because you got so much energy?
Yes. I could stay up all night. I look at the clock and I'm like, oh my God, it's 8:15. Put everything down, open the book. And then but last night I didn't finish work till 7:30. So it's like by the time I eat, and then I had to have a call with a family member who's going through some things. And then it got to like 9 o'clock and I'm like, oh, now I've missed my 8:15 curfew. But then I got into bed and I read and then I finally went to sleep. So it's the 8:15 bedtime that I've given myself.
Okay. How do you reset when your energy dips?
When my energy dips or when my emotions dip?
Well, I was going to say like stress related is what I was going to say. But yeah, let's talk about emotion. Like when Jasmine's not Jasmine. So it's probably not energy. That's probably the wrong word to describe. But it's whether it's stress or emotions, if there is a dip. How do you reset?
Well, there's certainly dips where I don't feel myself. Whether it's because I'm going through personal things or it's usually just if I'm going through personal things, like work-related things I feel like I can get back on top of. Like, for example, I had a buyer pull out of a deal that was like the contracts were out for signing, the owner signed and the buyer wasn't signing. And then 2 hours later they called and said, actually, we've changed our mind. And I was like, okay, are you sure? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, all right, like I'm putting it on the market. Are you sure? And they're like, yeah, we're sure. Hung up. Okay, owner, they're not buying it, but here's the solution within 3 seconds. I didn't even know what the solution was when I dialed her number. But I was like, I'm going to find a solution between the time I hang up from her and by the time she picks up. And I found a solution and it was sold a week later for more. Well, $5,000 more to the same buyer that pulled out. But that sort of stuff doesn't rock me. It's other times when my emotions dip. I just, I lean into exercise, good routine, and positive affirmations. I just repeat to myself over and over and over, I feel good, I feel good. And I sing it to myself in my quirky little song.
You can't be negative if you tried, can you?
No, I went down to the coffee shop downstairs from my apartment the other day and they're like, you've never been in a bad mood. I'm like, oh no, like I am in a bad mood sometimes, but by the time I leave my apartment for the day, I'm back in a good mood. So it's spraying my spray and saying amazing things are happening to me today. I feel good. Like I just say positive affirmations until I feel good.
You know, you're also one of the most grateful like people I've ever met. You say thank you all the time. I haven't met anyone in my whole life who has said that they feel grateful for the opportunity or thank you as much as what you've said that to me. Ever. Well,
maybe that helps me stay positive.
I think that's just the mindset that you have, which is unbelievable. Being grateful. I think
I am grateful. There's so much to be grateful for.
Well, when you're grateful, you're focused on the things that you have. When you're not grateful, you're more focused on things that you don't have. And usually we have enough, generally speaking.
Yeah, we've got enough.
Generally speaking. I like how you said your nervous system, right? So you said you prioritize your nervous system. So how has that changed the way that you operate day to day?
I'm more proactive than I am reactive. I feel like I've always got a plan, and I'm always I consider what I'm doing. And I think what's that word you have?
Discernment?
Yeah, discernment. Everything is a choice. And I sometimes feel a bit overwhelmed, and it's very easy to become less overwhelmed just by, I might say to my friend who I'm meant to have dinner with on a Monday night, just letting you know, I can't do dinner Monday night. It's going to be a really big day for me at work. I'm going to get in at 7 and I'm not going to leave till everything's done, because by the time Tuesday comes around, my nervous system's calm. I'm not behind. I've got a plan for the week. I'm good.
So you're saying that in that instance, you're going to do a very long day, but that's discernment. You know that you're doing a long day so that it protects your energy on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Yeah.
Okay. The last few questions. What are you most proud of when you look back on your 6-year journey?
The first thing that comes to mind is my friendships. I'm proud of my friendships. I'm proud of the apartment that I live in. I'm proud of my health, my kindness, my patience, my ability to be present now, because I feel like I used to have a lot going on in my mind at once. My courage. I think I've made a lot of courageous decisions in the last 6 years that were hard, that I think a lot of people probably wouldn't make or would take longer to make. And I'm proud that I am on track to becoming the person I want to become.
When you say your friendships, I've almost been envious of some of your friendships that you have. You have some amazing people in your life. How did that, but you didn't have that before?
No.
So what advice would you give to someone who doesn't have that, who's looking for that?
Well, some of the friendships are only 2.5 years old. I made a conscious effort to ask to hang out with people who I thought seemed cool. And again, back to vibration, I was raising my vibration, and I think you match with people who are on the same level. So I think I was able, I leveled up, and then all of a sudden I was attracting different people into my life that wanted to spend time with me. And I mean, I think friendships come and go. Like, you can grow in different directions, and sometimes they're great, and then sometimes they're not for you anymore. But yeah, I think my advice for friendships is be empathetic, be caring, be curious. I think curiosity is amazing. I read a book called The 4 Agreements recently, and one of the 4 agreements is never take things personally. And I found that everyone has something going on in their lives, and you can't take it personally if someone doesn't want to spend time with you or they need to cancel. And sometimes just being supportive of someone who doesn't have time for me at this point in their life, they come back and they're like, thank you so much for not making me feel guilty that I haven't been able to spend time with you. So I think, yeah, just being really empathetic and caring and curious.
What does success mean to you now?
Success is having a calm nervous system, having loving relationships, having money in the bank for a rainy day, having an investment strategy, being healthy, and having goals that you're working towards and getting closer to.
So you have goals, obviously.
Yeah, I do.
And they're on your desk?
Yes, they are.
Where else are they?
They're my financial year goals. They're on my desk and on my bedside table.
And on my desk.
And on your desk. Yeah, I said, all right, you're going to manifest these for me, and I put them on your desk.
I love that. What's the next version of you that you're working towards?
Staying consistent with my new health and exercise routine. Building a property portfolio, building some sort of, I don't even know the terminology. I need to learn more about investing, like shares and stocks and funds and things like that. That's something I'm working on at the moment. with your accountant. I'm not sure if you know that. And finding someone to build a life with, like a romantic partner.
So you're single at the moment?
Yeah.
Manifesting?
I'm vibrating at a frequency that's going to attract someone who's my equal.
Awesome. If that person's watching this, they have to come through me first, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
They do.
Okay, and finally, what does it mean to you personally to have built this journey inside our team and to know how many lives your story will impact?
I'm not sure. I hope plenty of people get some inspiration from this, and I hope that people choose to be the best version of themselves, and whatever they want, it's in their destiny already. Like, it is happening. They just need to figure out how to get there.
Any final thoughts?
No, nothing else. Just grateful to be here.
Thank you. I don't know how to thank you with how do I do that? Shit. You've how do I do that?
I know you're thankful. I'm thankful too.
A divorce, cancer. I don't know how I would have done that without you. So thank you.
You're welcome. I couldn't have done any of it without you.
Yeah. Thank you. That's it. Fuck, you are so impressive.